Extreme Collectibles here with a bunch of announcements on day 10 of 10 days of statue. This is it. This is the end of the line. I'm taking tomorrow, well, I still am filming some stuff, but nothing is going to be posted tomorrow, Saturday, August 17th. Sunday, got something coming for you. At the end of this, stay tuned. I'm going to give kind of a a speech on the 10 days of statues, so if you want to stay around for that. But otherwise, we need to jump into Iron Studios Spider-Man, because after 10 days of doing this, I'm dead. Collectibles here with quarter scale Iron Spider-Man from Iron Studios. Iron Studios is the manufacturer. Iron Spider-Man is the character. I purchased him because I love the Avengers. Who doesn't? I love Spider-Man. Who doesn't? Well, probably some people. And I figured he could either go with my Spider-Man collection or he could go with my Avengers collection. So I'm going to show you guys a picture from the future. It really is Avengers. We're going to time travel, and I'm going to show you a picture of what he's going to look like in my current Avengers setup. So here it is right here. I have some custom risers that are going to go up a couple inches off the floor, being fashioned, but a little crowded right here. But I do plan to move Drax and the other Guardians of the Galaxy underneath, Silver Surfer and Thanos just to the right, and Galactus just to the right of this display here. So that's what's going on there. I also plan to get a different Hulk. That one, for those of you that recognize it, is part of the ARP diorama with Logan vs. Hulk, so eventually he'll go back to then. I have so many Hulks on order, but that's the only green Hulk I have. I think I have 4 green Hulks on order, maybe 5, but that doesn't matter. So Iron Studios made this guy. He's quarter scale. If you're new to statue collecting, that means it is 1/4 the size of what he would be in real life. So for example, if Peter Parker was 6 feet tall, which I doubt, if he was 6 feet tall, the statue would be 18 inches or 1.5 feet, 1/4 of that, which the scale is probably pretty accurate. And they made 730 of these. And Iron Studios, to my knowledge, for the most part, doesn't always make an exclusive. So an extra version that has extra switch outs or anything like that. So all 730 of these came with these same switch outs. They all came with 2 portraits. First portrait is right here. It's a masked Iron Spider. And the other one is a Tom Holland MCU portrait. And we're going to do close-ups when we get to the paint and sculpt on both of those. Kind of spoiler, I think they missed it on the Tom Holland, but it's okay. It's kind of classic Iron Studios, if you will. And this Iron Spider is not the comic book adaptation, it's the MCU, so the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Spider-Man Far From Home, Homecoming, Avengers, that Spider-Man. So many different worlds and universes going on right now. And I believe this one is from the Infinity War, which we're going to talk about when we get to concept and design. Price was $7.99, I believe, $799 plus shipping, which I have no clue how much that was. Dimensions on this guy, it's going to be a little tricky because of his extra legs. That's what I call them, legs. But it looks like he's about 26 inches tall and probably 22 inches wide and little 20 inches deep. For exact dimensions, go to Iron Studios or Sideshow's website. I did purchase this from Sideshow. They're a distributor for some of Iron Studios stuff. And here's a picture of the art box and the packaging. It was 2 layers of foam, if you were wondering. And then right here is a picture of all the pieces before it came together. So as a recap, this part of the base is one piece. This big metallic item we're going to talk about is another. Iron Spider, his 2 portraits. His right hand is a separate piece, and then his 4 extra legs. But with that, let's jump into the concept and design of this piece. First, with the concept, this is where I said I'm pretty sure it's from Infinity War. It looks like it's on the planet Titan, so that explains the rock rubble base and the different metallic items. They could have been buildings from when Titan was destroyed, or something ensuing in the battle. And he is on it, and I would classify this as a dynamic pose. It's not fully dynamic, kind of a museum dynamic. So dynamic meaning he's kind of going into battle, and his extra spider legs are coming out. And one really cool thing with the concept you'll see here, so he does have a light up portrait via batteries, that it does come with batteries. And then here's what he looks like without it. So very cool concept, because the reason it's so cool is if you're really doing a true MCU Avengers or movie statue setup, it falls right in line. But even if you're not, it looks pretty cool. So I do like that. The design was actually very good. It was really easy to assemble. There's two minor issues that I found. So first is his left foot will not fully go in. Here's a close-up of it right here. And what's interesting is, this is, you know, kind of what Sideshow keeps doing. He's actually not secured to the main base. He's secured to this piece of it, which is then secured to the base. But it has 3 interlocking points, so I think that's pretty safe. Then the other one, with Spider-Man, most people, the portrait seam, they do a really good job hiding it because they can hide it within his costume. Here, I'm not sold. I think they could have done a little bit better. Especially for the fact that this is his Iron Spider suit. So that's the other thing within concept is, if you don't know what the Iron Spider suit is, and again, it varies a little bit from the actual comics to the MCU, but it's more of a computerized suit as opposed to a cloth suit, and it has a whole bunch of capabilities such as releasing his extra legs. And I keep saying legs, you could call them arms, whatever you want. I say legs because it's Spider. That's why he has 8 appendages now. Just like Doc Ock has 8, he only has 4 of the robotic arms. One of the things I wish they would have done a little bit differently, I wish there was more light up features. I wish his hands would have lit up and maybe something on his chest. And I wish I don't know how you could have done this, I'm not an electrician, but I wish they would have had it so he could have been in instant kill mode, so it would have lit up red. That would have been pretty badass in my opinion. So, but otherwise, very cool piece. Some of the issues that we're going to talk about with paint and sculpt right now are classic Iron Studios. And most of it has to do with the paint, a little bit with the sculpt. And overall, don't get me wrong, I think this is a really cool piece. And I think 730 is a relatively low ES. So with the popularity of the MCU movies, I think this is going to be not even close to a grail, but I think it's going to hold its value for quite a while. So I think it's waitlisted, so congrats to everyone that has it. And if not, and you're thinking about it, go ahead and pick it up. But with the paint and sculpt, starting at the base, so the bottom part of the base has, you know, it looks cheap. It looks this black plasticky. It's not plastic, it looks plastic. So they could have done something different with the paint. Then it has the Avengers symbol on each side. And this kind of follows the Thanos Iron Studios that I reviewed. Go check that out. And the really bad part about Thanos was the base. And this is no exception. So I think they really screwed up on the Thanos base. I think they did here too. So look at this rock. It looks like a big plastic hollow toy. Really bad sculpt. The paint job is very bland. I know it's supposed to be Titan, so it's not going to be a traditional concrete rock stuff. But it really seems that Iron Studios cannot get their rock bases right, which is a shame because they get some other things, they knock it out of the park. This is just my opinion. I've seen much, much better. It looks like a plastic toy. But there are some other things on the base that look better. So this big pillar that's kind of mixed in, and it's a cool conceptual aspect of it. But there's some good paint and weathering on this. And the neat thing is you don't know what it is because who knows what the buildings on Titan look like. And the same kind of pillars coming out the other side where his foot is resting on. And then that big metallic piece, it's a different contrasting of colors. I like how they semi-matched it to the rocks, but made it differentiate. So you can tell it's been sitting in the dirt or the dust. Looks very rustic. And also, it's cool where it's actually, the pillar I was talking about is bursting through it right here. So kind of neat. So I would change essentially the rock base and the bottom part of it. I think could have been better. I also was looking at how much extra room this piece right here might take up, and I was hoping you could remove it when I was unboxing it. However, Spidey sits on it. So let's get to Iron Spider. Starting at his boots, I think they forgot to paint the bottom of his boot. I know they were trying to give it wear from the battle, but I think they failed miserably. It looks like it's been sitting in the sun and it's faded, and it doesn't look like dirt. Big miss, probably the only miss on Iron Spider, to be honest with you, other than I have a possible QC issue we're going to talk about in the paint. But as you move up the boots, looks really good. Shiny, metallic. And again, I don't know if this is a nano suit in MCU, like the Mark, the newest, I can't remember the number, but Iron Man suit in Infinity War. But really shiny, metallic, has the black lines like classic Spider-Man. Then the top of the boots is this golden color, off gold, that's actually going to match the extra legs that come out. And then looking at his blue pants, this is not as glossy, but it does have some gloss and some reflection to it. And there's all this different design around the knees, the legs. And if you see in the close-ups here, there's white specks everywhere. At first I thought it was dust, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but to me, since it's all over the statue, I'm betting it's all over every single production piece. So if you own this piece, please let me know if yours has this. And if it does, then I'm kind of SOL. But it could be that they wanted to make sure that it shows that he has wear. And then looking at his arms, so he has a mix of the blue and the red, and then some of those gold aspects that we were just talking about, like the top of his boots, and then his web shooters are that same off gold color. But it looks good, classic Spidey design. And then here's a zoom in of his hands. Looks like Iron Man hands, which the MCU Iron Spider does. Looks really good. Good sculpt on it. And then classic, not classic, but the Iron Spider symbol right on the front here. Looks really good. They did a good job with the anatomy. He does look a little bit smaller, but he is, you know, technically a teenager. And also he's not roided out, which I'm really glad they didn't do that. You don't even really see any muscles, which you wouldn't in a costume like this. And a lot of times they create muscles where there's a costume that wouldn't show muscles. And same thing with the back, classic Iron Spider symbol on the back, looks good. And then here's some close-ups of his extra legs, the Iron Spider legs. They look really good in my opinion. They're not glossy, which I think having it glossy, I don't know if I would have liked that better or not, but I like where they attach into his back. I like the grays and the golds and kind of you can definitely tell they're automated. They're like a machine. I think the pose they chose for all of them is really good. And lastly, let's talk about his portrait. So starting at his unmasked portrait, I think there's a big miss on the hair. Looks like just a blob. They could have done some more highlights of color, and they could have done, you know, some more differentiation in the strands. They did get the correct haircut for Tom Holland, which is good. And then the face, like I said, it's kind of on, kind of off. Sometimes you look at it and you see him. Sometimes you don't see him at all. They could have used more flesh tones. The paint around the eyes, there's actually a little bit of issue on the very bottom where you can still see some red behind it. The eyebrows are sculpted in. I think they could have chosen a better expression. He just looks bored. He doesn't look mad. He doesn't look upset. He doesn't look happy. He doesn't look sad. He looks like a waxed figure. So there's almost no expression in his face. And then the mask portrait, most of it looks much like the costume did. Classic red. That's that metallic part. And then his eyes, you actually see kind of the webbing in his eyes. And the black around it is sticking out just like my Iron Spidey bust I reviewed, and like he is, so that is accurate. And then the last part here we really didn't look at is his shoulder pads. The only place that really have texture on this statue. I like it, it adds to it. I remember the Iron Spidey bust from Queen Studios was texturized all over. So I think this really changes it up some. So between those two pieces, I actually like this better, even despite some of the flaws that are going on. So that's it. That's 10 days of statues, guys. I will continue to post something at least every other day. We'll probably do this again in a couple months. And I want to say three things. First, please comment on if you have this piece and you have the white spots. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know what the best Spider-Man statue is out there. So this is my third one. I have a custom in the back, which you guys saw on my room tour, and the Spider-Man Comiquette. I think I have 3 more coming, including the new Sideshow Premium format. But, so let me know your best Spider-Man. Let me know, or no, that's all I need to know. Or you can tell me anything else. I want to give a shout out to 5F. That dude cracks me up sometimes. Take it easy on some of the other people asking questions. And I want to say thank you not only to him, but to everybody. So really appreciate it. The channel is just over 7 months old. We're at 3,200 subscribers. Pretty cool. From my understanding, that's decently fast. And I have some really big plans we're going to announce after New York Comic Con that I think we'll do even more. So really appreciate everyone watching. I really appreciate the feedback, positive and negative. Unless you're just being a dick, then you can deal with Dick, who, by the way, is coming to my house this weekend. So you'll see that either next week or the week after. We're going to, side by side, we're going to talk. And the last thing, if you're just a YouTuber or you're not big into Facebook at all, just so you know, there's a lot of fantastic Facebook statue groups out there. So if you search statue Facebook, I'm a part of most of them. I'm an admin or moderator in quite a few. One of the ones I probably do the most activity. It's in the link at my description, so go check that out. Just try and join. If you're joining that asks a few questions, just write extreme so I know it's you, and we'll get you in the group. But really appreciate it, guys. Can't thank you enough. I have some really, really cool stuff planned that I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. So with all that, take care. Have a great weekend. And I like you guys. I don't love you because I don't feel love without a heart.